What's up, brothers and sisters? I know you've seen this video floating around on TikTok. The original creator's video is placed in the description. I was intrigued and had to learn the history of it. This movie is called Trick Baby, which came out in 1972. It's a screenplay based on the novel written by Robert Beck, who is also known as one of the most prolific pimps in the world, one Iceberg Slim. He's credited with inspiring the blaxploitation film genre and the beginnings of hip-hop and rap. The movie Trick Baby was co-written and directed by this man, Larry Yust. It starred some well-known actors such as Mel Stewart, whom you might remember on All in the Family, Good Times, What's Happening, Benson, and more. Verney Watson, whom you might remember from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Desperate Housewives, and currently on General Hospital. And Ted Lange, whose credits include In the Heat of the Night, Martin, and many of us know him as Isaac on The Love Boat. Back to this infamous scene. It was altered, but it's very close to the novel's original intentions. For instance, in the novel Trick Baby, on page 214, it reads, and I quote, "It's you liberals who are all wet, Brad. It's you liberals who have given them the freedom to threaten the white race," unquote. And here's the scene to match.
It's you liberals who have lifted them up, Howard.
Paul, you conservatives make a mistake. You can't afford to strangle hope in people. Without hope, people become dangerous.
No, Howard, you liberals have let them invade our society. You give them jobs, political jobs.
And on page 217, it continues with, and I quote, "The technique is roughly this. The freed inward elective and appointive as well will face his entry into the white world with no little trepidation. His fears, his insecurity is born of the unfamiliar, unknown facets of the strange new world. Underlying all of this, of course, is his well-hidden but nonetheless strong sense of inferiority. His is an urgent practical need, perhaps unconscious, to conform to the mores, the protocol of the new world. He has a deathly dread of conspicuous violation of these codes. His terror is that whites who have sponsored him will take notice and hurl him back into the ghetto. He's compelled to emulate white emotional control and polished, patient conduct. We flatter him as he becomes more like us. His identity, his fiery racial resolutions, if he has any, fade and are eventually lost. If he fights the mold, we poke derisive fun at him and make him appear ludicrous. One can't act like an N-word in suave white surroundings. We listen with compassion to his now guilt-ripened pleas for help for his black brothers back in the ghetto. We throw him a few crumbs of appeasement, but soon he becomes an alien to his black brothers, and they grow to hate him. They realize that he has sold them out. He becomes worthless to them and priceless to us. He has lost his power to lead them, to hurt us. In his thinking and love for the creature comforts, except for his blackness, he becomes one of our troops. He helps us unknowingly to fight a brutal war against his own kind. You must forgive me, Pete, if I have been pedantic in my explanation, but I do have a deep personal involvement in affairs racial," unquote. And here's the scene matching this text.
Paul, you missed the point. It's only the smart ones we move up.
That makes it even worse.
No, we have to move them up. If we leave a smart one in the ghetto, he might develop into a leader against us. But if we raise him up into white society, we neutralize him. He feels compelled to try to act like us. He loses his identity and his racial anger, if he has any. He becomes alien to his brothers. They realize he sold them out and they grow to hate him. He becomes worthless to them and safe for us. No, thank you. In fact, in his love for the creature comforts, except for his color, he's become one of us.
It is stated that Robert Beck's success might have made him the J.K. Rowling's of black pulp fiction if his royalties were commensurate with his sales. In true white American fashion, his publishing company, Holloway House, owned by two white men, Ralph Weinstock and Bentley Morris, robbed Robert Beck of his fortune. Last I heard, Birdman and his brother Slim purchased the rights to Robert Beck's entire catalog and re-released his classic memoir, Pimp, The Story of My Life, on May 10th, 2011. Oh, and if you're skeptical of the validity of Robert Beck's artistic work, you might have heard of this creator. His research is not confined to Australia. In general, colonizers use some type of division to maintain power. So, if they could go as far as to have sex with a culture to decrease their power, it's really not too far-fetched to believe that colonizers in America would divide the black community by giving a small percentage of them opportunities, thus creating perpetual division, never giving them a chance to recognize their full potential until now. Check Check out Black Dollar Fund. It's about time we stopped being manipulated and created our own power structure. Enough of the division. Make the decision to build unity so that we can finally have a community that truly cares about us. Black Dollar Fund. Finally investing in us.